Well, what's going on, bro? How you doing, Oscar? Let's give it a couple minutes for everyone to get in here. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Let me know how the volume is, as I adjusted a couple settings. What's going on, bro? Gotta lower this volume. Happy Sunday, everyone. Ready for a new week. All right, let's put the live scene on. Have the let me change the display. There we go. All right. Good, Mario. Drew B. Hartnett. Just another week, man. Last week was so slow. I did like no plays. So it's definitely more of a relaxing week. And now let's start to scale it up. But right, we always want to just, move with the market. It was so choppy last week, so it was just tough to play anything besides scalping. Drury says we need bangers. Nope, we just need consistent wins, right? Consistent wins with a good rate of return, or return risk to reward ratio. I think before we start, I'm just gonna go over like what I do in the morning when I wake up, and before I get into any charts or anything, I feel like that would be a good idea. So first thing I do is I always look at short week as well. Yeah, first thing I always do is just look at the upgrades and stuff to see what's going on. I like Benzinga. I like this format and everything. It's just easy to read and it's simple. And I'll just see what got upgraded, what got downgraded. I usually just look at upgrades because I usually just typically play calls. And I'll sort it either by date or by upside or downside. And I'll see if I like anything or like if anything sticks out to me. So like net clearly sticks out because this is a common thing and a popular ticker. And it got a huge upgrade, right? Hold to buy, and from $75 to 110. That's indicating a 65% move to the upside or 65% higher. And this is what I do every morning. I just see what happened, see what's going on. What's today? Today's the 28th. So this is the first thing I always do, just see what's going on in the morning, right? So just to see what these firms and research partners are looking at. Like AMD got upgraded. Price target's $96, indicating a 25.95% higher to the upside. Right, and AMD is definitely one of my plays this week. I got that from one of you guys, so Cisco, I know C-Blast played that this week by Goldman Sachs, 50 to 59 bucks. Nike got that upgrade. I know Nike did pretty well, right? Starbucks. So I just look for like the popular name tickers or anything that just stands out. So that's definitely the first thing I do. Other than that, I like this website. I like to look for activist investors, right? Someone who acquires 5% of a company. They're required to file this form, which is a 13D or 13G form. If you can read this if you want, it goes a little bit more in detail. But when someone buys 5% of a company, they're required to fill out this form. And when someone wants to sell it, they're required as well. So this is a great way to see what the whales are buying and selling. And they list them every single day. So there's usually like 10, 20, 30 a day. Yeah, I would say about 20 to 30 a day. And what we're looking for is, I think, the 13Ds or 13Gs. They both mean different things. So a 13G is for a passive investor, as opposed to a 13G if they want to influence the company at all. So we'll always look at these and see what people are investing in, because this is pretty interesting, right? Like, these people are buying, or this person sold 14% of the company. But I usually look for buys. All right, like this person, this company, what's 61%, 14%. It's just interesting. All right, let's get onto some charts, guys. So, SPY. We're looking at the daily right here. So we had that nice move up to that 398 level, and then we started consolidating and moving back to the downside, and we retested this trend line once again. And this trend line actually ended up bouncing right at the 0.5, and this 0.5 is drawn from the bottom, this wave 4, to the previous high. So from swing low to swing high is this fib. And the 0.5, right, if you watch my video on fibs, right, one of the three levels you need to look out for are the 382, the 0.5, and the 618. And as you can see, it bounced right off the 0.5, and we had this previous resistance. We broke that, and look at that large candle to the upside. So that's one way to play this, right? We also had a falling wedge. Also, this white trend line right here, right, we had this previous resistance. We broke out, and we retested it. So we had multiple points of support right here. So this was a great area to enter if you wanted to play calls on SPY. Okay, now we are approaching all-time highs. So if we can break above this 398.12 level, which is the all-time high on SPY, I would love to play calls. That is the level that I am looking for. That is the level I will play calls above. Now to the downside, right? I want to hold this previous high. This is the previous all-time high on SPY, that 394 region. If we can hold this level, that would be ideal. All right, I think we touched 400, honestly. Especially Biden just said he's thinking about that new stimulus. That's no one could have seen that coming. Guy just keeps pumping money into the market or into the economy. So we'll see what happens. QQQ. So what I'm seeing here, right? We have this trend line, and we kept resisting it over and over again, and we're starting to form this inverse head and shoulders, right? Inverse head and shoulders. We have the left shoulder, the right shoulder, or the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, excuse me. But usually, if the right shoulder is higher than the left, then that would be even more bullish, but it's not. But it is what it is. Can't be perfect all the time. So I'm looking for a break of this trend line, which I would play around that 321 level, right at the break of this candle, which let me draw it for you so we can have an accurate level. Probably that level, all right? 320.74, right in that area. I'd like to play calls if you like QQQ. Not everyone likes to play ETFs, so that 321 region, and then over that you need that 324.33, which is this previous resistance, as well as this previous resistance acted as support, and so on. Over that, there's a gap to fill. So over 327.80, you have this little tiny gap to fill. It's tiny, but a gap's a gap. right? So 327.80 to 329.97. So that's a $2 gap, which with calls, you know, that can even be 50 to 100% on options. Is the music too loud? Hopefully it's good. And how's the audio? Let me know if the audio is good and you guys can hear me well. Move this down. Guys, let me know how the audio is. Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. All right, IWM. Right, iShares Trust Russell, small caps. This is the trend line that we were watching. Oh, okay, perfect. So this is the trend line that we were watching, right? One touch, two touch, and we were expecting a bounce here, and that it did it exactly that. It faked everyone out, right? Everyone thought we were going to start to see some more downside, but we bounced very hard off this previous support, right? Again here, right? It bounced through, but it faked everyone out before a huge move up to the upside. That's a pretty bullish candle, right? That's a bullish hammer. I don't really focus on candles too much, but I think that's a bullish hammer. But we held this trend line, so that's definitely bullish. And we broke this previous resistance, right? Acted as support here. So we broke that, very bullish. And I think we see some more upside with this. All right, AMD. So AMD, what caught my eye, someone recommended it to me on Twitter, but right, so we had this previous support, right? So double bottom, and this was from November and September, and that previous support ended up acting as another support right here in March, and then, right, we approached it again, but since we bounced above that previous support, that's definitely a bullish indication. Along with that, right, so we bounced higher than this, so we have a higher high, or higher low, excuse me, higher low right here, and we are forming this falling wedge, and falling wedges are my favorite pattern, right? We have an A, B, C, D, E correction. If I go into the smaller time frame, let's go into the 1 hour. Right, we have our A, B, C, D, and E. Perfect touch, and now we're starting to break out of this falling wedge. If we can get over this previous support, it's going to act as a new resistance right here. Right, as you can see, the D wave rejected right there. So this entry is a break of the A wave and the D wave. So this 77.59 level is the ideal level. Maybe we break through, we touch this level, come back down. Right, that's totally possible to retest before moving higher. But I like this falling wedge pattern along with the previous support holding. As well as, right, we just looked at the upgrades. AMD was just upgraded with a, what was the price target? A $96 price target, indicating basically a 26% target higher by Northland Capital. So I love it. AMD. All right, let's go to Beyond. Beyond is the same exact thing, right? Nice falling wedge. Getting tighter and tighter, and we are approaching this previous support, as well as, right, previous support from here. Falling wedges are my favorite. So my entry point, right, we have this previous resistance right here, and I'm assuming that we're going to act as resistance unless we break through. If we break through, I'm going to be targeting, right, I have my alert set, move that right there, that's where it should be. And my targets, this is going to be my first target right here, right, previous resistance, previous support. You see how this support acted as a new resistance right here. always happens. And my lines are just in common places of support and resistance. Okay, so I'm just looking at this falling wedge for beyond. Definitely like it. If it doesn't work out, right, this setup's invalidated below this 125.87 level. So we can make a lot to lose a little, and that's how it always should be. Trez, my man. Appreciate that, man. I will go over that. I'm gonna go over that after I finish these. So give me like 10 minutes, and I'll go over MU. And I'm gonna do all chart requests right after I finish this playlist. Okay, so Piton. What I'm looking at, so I'm on the 1 hour here, but I'm gonna go into the smaller time frame. Right, I like this as a weekly play. Weekly play, I mean, as I'll buy contracts for Friday. So, right, this previous support is acting as a new resistance, right? We rejected once, twice, and then we broke out, right? We're making higher and higher lows, and we are rejecting this previous level, right? Previous support is acting as a new resistance. So now if we can break this 106.56 level, I will play calls, and I expect a jump, right? We'll probably get a nice large candle to break this to the 108.44 level, which is this next resistance, right? Next resistance acted as support, and you guys get the point. And above that, we there's not many two levels above. I mean, this candle right here, right, acted as support, acted as resistance. So that would be my next target, the 111, 112 region. So I like this for a smaller time frame. Look at the volume at close too. Right, if I use the EMAs and stuff, right, so we're starting to curl to the upside. If I check the indicators, let's check the 1 hour indicator. Indicators are starting to move to the upside, so I definitely like that. EMAs are starting to curl up. If you look at the EMAs, I personally don't really use those. And we're about to break this EMA. So it's definitely a bullish indication. Right, and that's a 200 moving average. We're about to break that, so I definitely like this a lot. Okay, let's go into Marvel. Thanks for joining, man. I am going to be... So if you see Preston just joined the basic level on YouTube, what that is, you can check the perks out. But I'm going to start to be posting a lot more on YouTube. I'm going to be creating videos. And if you're a member of the YouTube, I'm going to be making like private content and all that jazz. So I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to be putting a lot of work into that. So I'm just getting started, so it's going to take a little bit to, you know, put out that content, but I'm in the works right now. Marvel, we have this huge line of previous resistance. I'm on the 1 hour. Huge line of previous resistance. So I am looking for a break of this level. If we can break 48.42, right? So this previous resistance right here, this previous resistance right here. Anything else? Nope. So just this level. I would love to play calls at the break right there. First target above, right, is going to be that region, right? Previous resistance, support, and so on. Enhanced OnlyFans. Never, man. So I really like this. If we can break this trend line, which, righty, if you want to be riskier but for a greater reward, you can always play as soon as it breaks this pink trend line, right? Because it's not confirmed that the breakout will happen. We can always reject and come back down, and this could totally fail. Or you can just enter at the break of this line, right? Because this would be a confirmed break, and your profit wouldn't be as much, but it would be way safer. Okay. RKT. So, Rocket, we have this previous trend line, insane amount of consolidation. We broke out, and now we came back down to these levels, and we're retesting. So we have old resistance acting as a new support. And here we have a little falling wedge on top of this support, right? So we acted as support, and then we acted as support, and we jumped up the other day. Now we are about to break this falling wedge. So if we can break that 23.93 level, which we're right there, 23.87, so around 24. So if we can break 24, my first target above is indicated by these blue lines. And if we can break over this 25.55 region, we have a large move. I would assume, right, our first target would be around this 28.70 level. And then over that, it's just, I mean, look, we have all this room to run. So I really like this. This could totally be a banger. Snow. More falling wedges. Let's go into the 4 hour or the 1 day. Yeah, let's go to the 1 day. So another falling wedge. Take a look at the volume, right? We're just getting started on this move to the upside. And we're about to break out here, right? We have this previous support acted as a resistance. So I want to see a move over that 242 level. That would be my entry, and that would be a confirmed break out of this falling wedge. And my targets are indicated by these yellow lines, 250, 267. There's some resistance in here. It's not as significant as this line, right? We have this previous support, and it acted as resistance right here. Love the setup. This is definitely going to be a great play when it happens. Apple. Yep. Preston, I will take a look at that in a second. Apple. Okay, here's the Elliott wave analysis. If you want to go take a look at this, screenshot it, whatever you want. I posted it in the Discord. If you haven't seen that already. But I'm just going to go over the recent price action. So, Apple falling wedge. All right, we have an A, B, C, D. Potential wave E, unless this was our wave D and this was our wave E. So I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But we can either see a pullback again back down to that 118.29 level, or we break out. Blue line is my entry above 122. Right, 122, 122.14, that region. That's my entry point and my targets, right? B wave, so 124 is my target. Above, we have that 125.86 level, and then the top of the falling wedge, which is around that 127 region. So this could totally be a banger as well. Apple, I would go a little further out, right? Because it's probably going to be a little slower. Yeah, falling wedges, love them. They don't always work, but they give us great risk to reward ratios. Right, if we enter here, we know this play is invalidated below this region. It's very simple to read. And targets are usually top of the falling wedges. All right. All right, let's check out MU. All right, let me just delete everything here and I'll redo it. Let's check out the 1 day. So, all right. First, I want to see if there was any price upgrades or downgrades. Okay, so let's check it out. So today is the 28th. The last upgrade or downgrade was 317, 315 by Citigroup. So buy. 130, 110, 118, 115. What are we at right now? We're at 87. So these are definitely bullish targets, right? So these firms and research groups are all bullish. Yeah, not bad. Let's check out maybe some news. Anything special? Hmm. Right. So if you want to invest in a company, you should always be looking at all that. Let's take a peek. So I'm just going to look at recent price action. Right. So we have this previous support, acted as a resistance right here, acted as resistance here, became the new support. And as you can see, we had a little fake out before the bounce, but right. So the recent drop in the market made like everything do that. So that's okay. Next target. So it just broke this candle, right? So this is definitely a major resistance point, and we just broke through that. So that's definitely bullish. I really like that break. So now, if this can hold above that 87.25 level, I would definitely like that. What I would really like to see is, right, we move up a little higher. Maybe we reject right in this region because that is previous support, and right, previous support acts as new resistance, right? So maybe what I would like to see is, right, we move back up and then we come down and we make this a new support before moving higher. That would be ideal, right? So if we can reject, come back down, make this previous support and resistance a new support right here, and then move back to the upside, break this previous resistance, right? Previous resistance. This is the level you want to watch though, because this is definitely a major point of resistance. As you can see, we rejected once, twice, 3 times, and then we acted as support. So what can you assume? 86, 89, 68, that region right there is going to act as a new resistance. So this is the level you want to be aware of. Patterns, I don't really see any patterns. This isn't a falling wedge. There's no like head and shoulders or anything. Right, but we do have this double top right here, so that's another major resistance above. Let's check out the indicators on the daily. So they're continuing to move to the downside. Maybe we'll get a curl back to the upside, but nothing too great there. So you're just gonna have to play according to price action here. So you just need to watch that 89.68 level. All right. Don't see any patterns or anything. And by that I mean falling wedges, ascending triangles, and stuff like that. Okay. Airbnb. Airbnb. Let's check it out. Second lower line, bounced a little, and now has a nice flag. Let's check it out. So we're in the 1 hour right now. Right, so what I see first is, whoops, right, this level of resistance, right in that region, right? Rejected, right? We sort of made it over, but didn't really. Rejected and rejected. So this is definitely a point of interest that once we approach that region, but right, we're not even near it, so we don't have to worry about it yet. That's a region that you want to watch out for. What I'm going to do is, I'll just set an alert, right? Because if I'm not watching this and the time comes and we end up breaking that, I now have an alert set there. Next, we have this support right here. And right, so this bounced right there, support, and rejected right there. So that's just another great example of how previous resistance acts as new support. And this was from February, and this was from December of 2020, so a long time ago. Oh, you were on the 15-minute? Okay. I'll go over that in a second. But as you can see, this line right here, we're right around there. So this is definitely a level that is from almost a year ago that is going to come, it's going to act as a new resistance right here. So now let's take a look at the 15-minute like you were looking at. So, right, this level is acting as a new resistance. This is from last year of 2020. And this is just a great example. This isn't a very special setup on the 15-minute. I don't really like this too much, and by me saying I don't like it too much doesn't mean I'm not bullish or bearish. I just don't see any great setup. All right. Nothing works. I like this on the longer time frame. So if it can break this 175 level, psychological number, right? 175, great level to break. Next target is going to be this previous resistance, right? So previous support, acting as a new resistance. So if it breaks 175, 179 is my target, and above that, you can always do fibs too, right? So if we do fibs, we'll do from swing low to swing high of the previous move. Swing low to swing high. Let me put my targets on. Right, so from swing low to swing high, you could see how the fibs work to the downside, right? We bounced off the 382, we rejected the 236, and then we ended up falling back down. We bounced off the 0.5. Your entry would have been the 382, and this would have been your target. It hit perfectly, and then it ended up falling right back to the downside, and now we're right at the 786. So, right, next target above, according to the fibs, is 182. So how I would play that, enter at 175, 179 is my next target, and above that 182, and so on. Okay. All right, let's do some more chart requests. I'm going to try and go back to the top. That way the people that requested first. Apple, we went over. GM. Yeah, I'll do GM. Let's check it out. Oh, I remember this. Check out the longer time frame. So, let me remove this stuff to make this a little cleaner. Okay. So, this is the previous chart, right? We had that A, B, C, D, E correction before moving and breaking out of this flag. Now, we broke out, we retested. So this is just another example of previous resistance, right? This pink trend line, previous resistance. We broke out, new support, we moved to the upside, and as always, it comes back down and retest. So over the 56.97 level, or 57 just to be a whole number, right? Previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance. This is the level you want to be aware of, 56.97, 57 region. And look, we can even do fibs. Swing low to swing high. Right? So if you entered at that 56.29 level, your target is 57.66, and so on. And that's if you play off fibs. Let's check out the indicator. So we're in the 4 hour. These can definitely start to move back to the upside, so that's solid. That it's kind of a neutral position on the daily. 2 hour, definitely bullish. Yeah, so I like this. And even if we go down to the 1 hour, now that let's start to look at some patterns. We have a inverse head and shoulders right here, right? So let me turn this off. This is the left shoulder, right? We have the head, and we have the right shoulder. So inverse head and shoulders. This is your entry point, or the top, right? So that 57.36 region, or 57.50 right over that candle. I like this. It's decent. I'm going to add my alert right here. Oh, I even have an alert already. I'm going to add another alert right in the middle just in case I miss it. And I'll add it to my watch list. All right, let's check out what's next. So we did GM. Eton, we did Airbnb, we did Square. All right, let's do Square. SQ. Check it out, guys. So I'm going to start on the daily with all the tickers. All the charts are going to probably look a little the same because of the recent corrections. So just starting, all right, we can even pull this all the way from here. All right, so we have, all right, and this could be even extended all the way to there. So super long trend line. It's holding extremely nicely. I really like where it bounced. Next level I'm looking at previous support and resistances from previous data. Right, we have this previous resistance, previous support, and another support right here. So that's the level that I'm looking at right now. And I'm just going to take the line, draw it just like that. Right, it doesn't need to be perfect, just in the general area, right? And 215. So the 215 region, not the exact number, but region, is the resistance that we are approaching. And as you can see, we rejected that. So if we can break, I look entries for like this, previous or recent support or resistance. As an entry point, I would use this level, probably that 219 maybe, or even the break of this candle, right? The break of this high, 216.79. If you want to play to the upside, and targets above. All right, so just previous support and resistance levels right there. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. All right, that's going to act as some resistance. And that level lines up pretty well, right? Right there. So here are my targets above. And below this, it's all invalidated. So, right, that would be my stop loss. Right below the low of the low. Make it red so you could see. So it makes it a little bit more clear. Okay. So there's square. What did you said you had calls, right? Let me see. You have 240 calls for the first. The first, wow. So you're way out of the money. So you need a large move. I would like 230 calls potentially for Friday if this breaks. right? We're a little bit out of the money. It's definitely possible to become in the money if we have a nice move. Yeah, 230 calls for Friday would be my play. All right, let's do see what we got next. Discovery. So this really took a turn for the worst. But let's see. I'm gonna go on the daily. I'm gonna do the fibs, right? Do the fib test. We have an easily identifiable swing low, swing high. So, I mean, look where it closed. Right on that 618 level. Major point. So we broke through, but we recovered. And it held this previous support. All right, that level right there. So we held the 618. If you're playing the fibs, right, you want to play the 0.5 above. Let's check out the indicators. Ouch. So this honestly, you might move sideways for a little bit. Look at this selling volume. That's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't even touch this. Yeah, Preston, you'll get the fib soon. Just keep doing it, keep charting, and you'll get the hang of it for sure. Let's do Neo. What did someone say about Neo before? Let me read. So someone said I was saying it was going to go to $70. Yeah, that was my price target, but things change. Neo is the stock we all want to go up, and it just keeps going down. One thing that came out recently is that Neo isn't auditing their financials, so that is just bearish. Right? They could be lying about their numbers. How do we know it's accurate if it's not being audited? So that kind of makes me just want to stay away from Neo. But if you do just play price action, then you don't really care about news. So based off the price action here, right, we have our wave 1, wave 2, and then in the smaller scale, we have our wave 1, wave 2 pullback, which this fib is from that low to this high, and that's the 786. So it's definitely possible that this is our bottom right here. This bottom right here also is pretty bullish because it's higher than this. So we created a higher low. And we created a support out of basically nothing, right? We have no previous support in this region. So this could definitely be a bottom. I'd like to see a reversal out of here and a break of this 40, 41 level. And over that, I mean, we could potentially start to see an uptrend. But I don't know. Neo is starting to be sketch because they don't audit their numbers. So, I mean, who trusts a company that doesn't audit their numbers? Like, how do you know it's all accurate? So, but this could be the bottom. And here's the target. 1618 is the wave 3 price target. So 5761 is the target now if this is a wave 2. Right? That's an if. Let's do AMC and then I'll do Fubo. AMC. So I like this chart a lot, honestly. We have our A, B, C, and we could potentially squeeze for another week, right? If I take the ruler and go from here to around there, right? It's around 7 days, 7 bars, so a week. It's definitely possible. If we can use these lines as resistance and support and then bounce out, I mean, that would be as bullish as it can get. This will give time for the indicators to come down here, cross, right, a MACD cross before going back to the upside. The volume, declining volume, all right, we're getting set up for a big move. So it's not bad. This 618 is just from this swing low to this swing high. It bounced right at the 618. Fubo. Fubo just keeps going down, man. I'm going to delete everything here. Make this neater. So, I mean, you could take a look at like this, right? That's a trend line. I mean, it's kind of a falling wedge. Right, so you can consider that a falling wedge. I don't really like how it has to go through. And it did just break this previous support. Right, that 2317 level, previous resistance, acted as a new support. So it did just break that. And back in August of 2019 or 2018 actually, it was a resistance. So I mean, if it doesn't reclaim that 2317 level, I wouldn't even touch it to the upside. Yeah. So wouldn't touch it below that. So it definitely needs back over this level. Has some resistance right at that 2613 level. Right, support, acted as support. So that's another level that's going to act as resistance when we end up breaking above. Let's check out JMIA. Oops. So, taking a look at the daily, since the market sold off, this ended up not working out, but right, we ended up rejecting right at that 49 level. This previous resistance acted as another resistance. Right, we had that fake out. And now we're retesting this bottom right here. So if we can hold here, right, this 3142 region, which we are, and we can start to see him move back up, definitely, then I'll consider it. I don't see any too good of a setup here though. I don't see any patterns. The 2-hour MACD looks nice. Let's check out the 1 day. All right, so all I'm looking for is just multiple points of confirmation. Right, no flags or anything. But if you do want to play this, right, you can definitely play over that candle, that 3610 level. And your target, right, this previous level, around 40, a 4-point move, that would be nice. And that level lines up perfectly with this region, right, that 41 region. Okay. As well as this level. So definitely like that. That would be my exact entry with resistance above. Christian, my man, you are welcome. Let me know if you have any more questions. What's your Discord name, Christian? And let me know if you want to see a specific chart, Christian. Eddie, let's do Riot. Right, I'm not trying to skip anyone. If I do skip your request, it's not intentional. It's just a lot of tickers to do. So, let's do Riot. I haven't looked at this in a while, and it bounced exactly where expected. We have our A, B, C, and we are finding some resistance. Let's take a look at the daily. Interesting. I don't know why I had this line drawn. Okay, whatever. Oh, Christian 87. Duh. Appreciate it, man. I do like this. We bounce exactly where expected, and we are starting to flag, right? You definitely can consider this a flag. Right, something like that. And we're starting to break out. So if we can break this 49.75 level, right, the top of that flag, I love this for a move to the upside. Right there. That's the first target. Next target above. All right, we're just looking for some previous resistance levels. All right, that region. 1 touch, 2 touch, that kind of counts. Nothing has to be perfect, right? Just in the region, as long as you know where some support and resistances are going to be. Okay. Let's check out Bitcoin. Does anyone trade crypto here? So Bitcoin, we have this large downtrend flag channel. A, B, C, D, E, and now we're breaking out, right? We have this previous resistance acting, right? We broke out. It's kind of acting as a new support, and I expect to move back to the upside. Here's the chart. Christian, let me know if you want to see any charts. ARCX is launching March 30th. Oh, nickel, sorry. Let's do apps. Sorry, I skipped that, man. Let me do this, and then I'll go back to Bitcoin if we want. I already had this charted, so right, this previous support is from November, so this is a long term or a long time trend line, and we had the fake out once, a fake out again, and here we are holding again. So, I don't like that trend line. Not a fan of that one. What do I like here? I'm just looking for major areas of support and resistance. I like that line right there. Why? Because support, we ended up rejecting that same support right there, acted as support again twice, and now we're rejecting again. So this trend line is way stronger, so this should hold and it should push through. And once it's over that 78.57 level, I definitely like this to the upside. So yeah, this is a nice setup. Let's check out the 1 day. I mean, look how choppy this is. Crazy. MACD, it's definitely due. So this could definitely move, I think. Yeah, let's do SNDL. Do a couple more, guys. Girls. Guys and gals. So, right, I'm just looking for major areas of support and resistance. You can either do it like that or like that. I think I like that a little bit better. Just moving sideways. The thing about SNDL is that it is one of those like GameStop meme tickers. So I feel like the market makers are just trying to suppress it and keep it down. But this is a cannabis company, if that's correct. I think it is. Yeah, if we have a nice week with the market, I mean, there are just so many things that can go crazy. But if we have another choppy week, I mean, everything is just either going to go up and down again. So it really just depends on what goes on with the market. But I'm basically being bullish because of SPY and QQQ where they finished off. I definitely think we break 400. And this, I think we approach this top trend line at 320 region. So I'm just being bullish based off of that. So you have 200 shares and you do covered calls. Great. So if this 106 region holds, right, this previous support, I definitely like it. We're starting to form this base, right? So we just had a nice sell-off. Now we're basing before we move back to the upside. So watch this 106 level. Watch the 1, right? The 1 level. It's a psychological number. And below that is 93. So these are your areas that you want to be careful of. Below that, I'd probably sell them. But I like how we are now basing, right? We've had 3 days now above this support. So it's definitely likely that it can hold. Right, just like here, we had those 3 candles before I moved back to the upside. So I like it. Definitely think we can approach this region again, that 164 level. Let's do EA. All right, and again, my point of doing these charts for you guys and telling you what I see and what I'm looking at is just to hopefully make you guys learn something. That way you don't have to rely on other people to do trades, which is what I wish I had when I started. Let's check it out. So let's do the fib test. We have an easily identifiable swing low and a swing high, right? And we are hovering right at this 0.5. So this 382 to 134 region, I love as an entry because that previous resistance, right? We're basing, we're moving sideways, as well as it lines up perfectly with this previous resistance. So let me remove this and draw a resistance line. So this is the level, right? We have it acted as support, then acted as a resistance, right? We dropped through, and then acted as support, and now we're acting as a resistance. So over this 134 region, I love this to the upside. That's the next target above, right? Previous support, previous support. So it's not bad. Yeah, apps can definitely get to 100 super quick if the market's trending for sure. Lemonade. So I used to love this setup right here, that E wave. I thought we had this wave 1, but the wave 2 failed big time to the downside. All right, let's check it out. So we had this bottom right here. So this could potentially be a turning point. I like how, so as of now, this could be a potential bottom. We had a higher low, right? So we had the low right here at that 80 region, and then we had this low at the 82 level. No problem, man. And I like that it's higher than this one. That's definitely a bullish indication. So this could be a wave 2, right? This could be a wave 2. It's a deep retrace. And it's holding that 786, right? Candles are above, so it is holding the 786. It moved back above like 90, I would be bullish. But I don't know. Look, it's down so much from the highs. It's down over 50%. So if you want it long term, I don't know what they do. Also, what do they provide? Lemonade? I don't know what they do. Any other major support and resistances that I see? Let's see. So obviously this is going to act as a resistance, right? That 90, 95 region. But I don't see any patterns or anything like that. I mean, this could be a reverse cup and handle. Right, cup and handles are valid over the 0.5, so this could be a reverse cup and handle, which means, right, we would see more downside. Oh, their insurance, got it. Awesome, Preston. Need to see where it goes here. This could be the bottom. I think we need more data. Let's do Disney. Disney. I haven't looked at this in a long time. Let's clean this up a little bit. This we could pull right down there. That we could pull right to the top. So as you could see, right, so I drew this channel here. Right, we've been following this channel pretty nicely. And we just broke out of it. So we broke out of it and then we retested it as new resistance, right? So we had this previous support, this trend line, right? Support and resistance doesn't have to be just horizontal. It can be diagonal and so on. It acted as a new support, resistance, excuse me, right there. So I wouldn't play this until it gets back above this level right here. That region, that 189, 190 region, that's the level I'm watching right there for a move back to the upside. Otherwise, I think we could potentially retest that 179 region. Yeah. Indicators are saying that it probably needs a little bit more time before a move, right? So take a look at the indicator right here. The last time it looked like that was like right in this region, right? And it just moved sideways. It doesn't mean it's going to do it again, right? But we could potentially move sideways here again. All right. On to the next, YQ. I mean, every ticker, these tickers look the same, right? They all really look very similar. Everything just sold off huge. So that's a trend line for sure. And this was definitely a previous. Right, something like this. And we just broke below. And we also broke below the low of the chart. So this green indication right here is showing extremely oversold, right? We're approaching we're at like the 24 level on the RSI. So that's definitely very oversold. I mean, buyers are probably going to start to come in around this region. But I don't like this unless it gets back over 10. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a couple more, guys. ARDX. I'm trying not to skip anyone, so just know that. There's a huge gap to fill above. That's what I would wait for. I mean, it's at 625, but it's just straight chop recently. There is a trend line here, right? Something like that. Right? That works way better. Along with this. Right? Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, just right, as long as it's in the general area. So we're definitely coiling, right? We're creating higher and higher lows, lower highs, and we have a nice gap above. I really like that gap. Right, so over 882. There's a gap to fill to see if I can pinpoint it to 1210. So that's a pretty big gap above that. If it breaks that 882 region, it's gonna run. And it is coiling tighter and tighter. So I do think that it moves sideways for a little bit longer, right, until we get to over here, maybe for another month, before it moves higher, unless they get some good news or something. They did just have earnings, but yeah. FLO. Yeah, I'll definitely do a video on gaps. That's a good idea. I feel like I always say there's a gap above, and no one really knows what I mean, so that's a good idea. Flowers foods. Do they provide flowers? Do they provide foods? What do they provide? So this is definitely a trend line, right? But it broke out, faked out. I'm gonna look at the weekly. This is just like a super long-term chart. It's approaching a nice level here, right? Rejected, rejected, rejected. So that would be the level I'd watch, that 25.15 region, with the next resistance above being that 27.31. And this is the weekly, this is the 5-day chart. Now let's go into like the 45-minute and see what's good here. So it did just break this level. So it's definitely bullshit. If it can break it and then come back down and retest, right? How many times have we seen that happen, right? We break out, we come back down before moving higher. Happens every time. That retest is where you want to buy in. Gaps are basically just something that happens overnight. If there's news, earnings, the price changes. So like, let's say a stock is $100 and right, stock X is $100. Good news comes out overnight or after market hours or before market hours, and the price changes to $110. There's now a $10 gap in between $100 and $110, right? A $10 gap in between due to news, earnings. There's so many different reasons why a stock can move like that. And then there's a gap. So in between that gap, there's no resistance or support. So let's say it's at $110 and it falls below 110. It's likely that it's probably going to fill the gap to $100 because there's no support below. And vice versa on a move to the upside. But I could definitely do a video on them and how to trade them. Futu. Futu I like. Right, so we have this flagpole with the flag, and we're moving sideways to the downside. and we're holding the 618. I already drew the fibs from swing low to swing high. The 618 we bounced. 121, 128 is the area to enter, right, according to the fibs. Take a look at the MACD. This is about to start to move to the upside. I love this setup. I'm actually going to add it to the watch list. This could be a longer term play. It's just a little bit of a slower mover too. And it did have some nice option flow on it recently. I definitely like it. Right, so 121 region is an entry point. 131 next resistance point, right? Resistance, and so on. Oh yeah, all right. I'm gonna do one more ticker, guys. I'm gonna do Tesla. And then if you want to see anything else, if I missed whatever you requested, just please DM me on Discord, and I'll send you a chart, and I'll send you my thoughts behind it. So I was watching Tesla last week for a scalp, which is why I have so many lines here, right? I was looking at this symmetrical triangle, not symmetrical, ascending triangle, right? We were creating higher and higher lows with this multiple top here. And this was the region that we were looking at. I think I was looking at the 5 minute, honestly. Yeah, so someone entered right here. I forgot who it was. And they sold right at that resistance point. But it did sell off, but we did bounce, right? We bounced right off the 600 level. So what I'm watching for next week is a move either below 600 or a move above the 624 level. These are the regions I'm watching, right? Previous support, which is why this 624 level is significant. These major bounces right here. So again, I'm either watching for puts below 600, or you can even do puts below 615, but I'd rather just wait for the 600 level, or calls above 624. And all these lines are just because of scout plays. All right. Bitcoin's doing a mini dump. If you guys have any questions just about trading in general, okay. As do you see a head and shoulders on AMC? I will check that for you. A head and shoulders. Are you talking about this? You talking about like this would be the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder? Kinda. I mean, yeah, you can definitely consider it that. I don't like. I don't know. I really wouldn't consider that a head and shoulders. This is more of a symmetrical triangle for sure. Yeah, I would consider it more of a symmetrical triangle, which is still a bullish or a neutral pattern. If you guys have any questions about trading, risk management, position size, whatever it is, either DM me on Discord, Twitter, ask in the Discord. All right, either I will get to you or someone else will get to you. And let's have a great week. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you had a great weekend, and let's have a great week. I appreciate you all stopping by and all the support. It means a lot. I'm gonna be making some more YouTube videos, and let's keep making money. All right. Any last questions before I hop out of here? No last minute questions? All right, ladies and gents, I appreciate everyone stopping by. Make sure you learn, make sure you study, make sure you read charts. Just keep on learning. If you're not doing well at trading, you will do well with time. It takes a long, especially in the current market, it takes a long time to learn. Um, so I'm still learning every day. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I just do the same things over and over again, and I continue to improve. I write everything down. I write down my mistakes. I write down my successes, everything. Write it all down. Right, that trading journal in my video that I talked about, super helpful. So just write everything down. Um, watch your emotions while trading. Make sure you size right. Make sure you are a risk first trader.